A very warm welcome to my audience of senior leaders, CXOs, and professionals. So, here is the next episode of CXO Crucible. As you know, CXO Crucible is me being in conversation with some very distinguished and senior leaders, talking about their crucible moments in their careers, one or two very significant moments in their career, which are make or break moments. So when they look back, there's a lot of pride in them that they came through very successfully and they learned a lot. And there's a lot of learning value for other professionals as well. So my guest today is Mr. Rajesh Mittal, President and MD of Isuzu Motors India. He's a very senior and accomplished professional, and he's kind of got very wide exposure to all functional areas, operations and purchase and quality, logistics, manufacturing across geographies. He's been in very senior positions with Volvo India, Eicher Trucks and Buses, UD Trucks of Japan. He's also had a very accomplished stint in China, which of course he'll talk more about today. Rajesh is from Indore, and his family comprises of his wife and daughter, who is currently in the US. So Rajesh, over to you to describe your crucible moment and share your learnings with us. Rajesh.
Thank you, Ramesh, and hello, everyone. So I will share one of my very big changing point of the career. So it goes back to the year 2013 when I was at a very senior position in Volvo Eicher commercial vehicles, and I was heading manufacturing operations there. And that was the time post JV with Volvo Group. Eicher was under a lot of transformation, and I was lucky to be part of leading manufacturing operations at that time in that transformational journey of modernizing the plants and launching new products. Now, that is the time I was doing very well and hoping to make a very good career in India as well as in Eicher. And in the end of 2013, there was a potential joint venture happening between Volvo Group and Dongfeng Commercial Vehicle China. And to my surprise, both Volvo Group, Eicher Group, and Dongfeng selected me as the right candidate to move to that joint venture, and I should be part of that top management as a head of manufacturing and quality there. So that came to me as a big surprise because it was having both professional and personal challenge for me in this assignment. At the time, my daughter was in class 9 and she was preparing to go to US for her undergrad study. So I was not in a position to leave her alone. And China was very far from India, 36 hours away because it was a remote location. So it was also not possible for me to manage that situation from so far. So I was inclined to say that I don't accept this challenge, despite it was a very exciting challenge for me.
So, Rajesh, when you didn't want to accept this promising offer of moving to China at a very senior position, at a much bigger scale, what assumptions were you really making about the dilemma you were faced with?
Yeah, it was really an interesting dilemma because at one end, the first assignment, which was global to me, and it was a very large scale. On the other hand, it was very crucial for my daughter. My dilemma was that if I accept and do injustice to any one of these assignments, so it will not be fair on my part, because if my mind is with my family and my daughter, and if I go like that to China alone, because my family could not have moved, then it will not be fair. So I wanted to strike a win-win situation, that if it is good for both the Chinese company, for Volvo Group, and for my family, then only I should accept this offer. Otherwise, I should not be sailing into two boats. That was my thinking at that time.
So in a way, you are really saying that, either I accept it and good for your career, or you don't accept it. You didn't want to sail in two boats at the same time. That's what I hear you say.
That's right.
And and you're also fearful that you didn't want to not do well, right?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, and the China had a language issue also, and China was way ahead of India, and I was an Indian leader. So I wanted to do justice. I wanted to put my heart and soul there, so that if I go, I should contribute. That was my thinking.
So after more than 2.5 decades of experience, and your career was going very well, you wanted to continue your success story. That's what I hear you saying. So Rajesh, what made you finally accept the offer?
Actually, since I am one person who always respect organization's need, because all leadership and board member decided that I am the right person to go there. So then my mind started thinking that what is the possible win-win where I can do justice to my assignment as well as to my family. So I propose few practical suggestions to Volvo Group, that I should be allowed to come to India for work from home every month for a week, if that is feasible. And since I am going to stay alone without my family and I cannot manage a home, since I had to do a lot of work at Dongfeng, being a challenging assignment, so I should be allowed to stay in a service department in a hotel. So that way I don't have to worry about my daily needs. At the same time, by coming 1 week in a month to India, I can take care of my family. Third, if I have been given a good Chinese language coaching plus a good interpreter, so that I can communicate well with my new colleagues and employees. So these are some of the arrangements I suggested. And to my pleasant surprise, the leader whom I was supposed to work with has accepted all these proposals very graciously. And then I also had to show that grace to accept the assignment and move forward.
Okay. So at this stage, what I'm hearing from you is that you never expected them to accept all your requests, but they accepted all your requests. So the first major learning I'm picking up is that be bold enough to ask what you really want. Don't get into a situation where you're compromising your own interests. So that's one. And the second is why, in the process of asking, what you demonstrated is that don't choose between this or that. Look at the possibility of choosing this and that. And who knows, you may get both and you can have the best of both worlds. Yes, Rajesh.
Absolutely, absolutely. And see, this
Yeah.
things what I propose, why they were out of box or different, because it was not common for any expat to get this kind of 12 visits in a year and work every week from home in a such an assignment. At the same time, with all amenities at service department in a hotel. So these are little deviation from the normal expat assignment by Volvo Group. So that's why it was a very pleasant surprise for me that they accepted.
And you felt, from what I'm hearing, you felt really wanted, that they're
Absolutely.
willing to make those exceptions for you.
Yeah, and assignment was anyway very challenging, and it was full of learning because it was 5 times bigger in scale, and China was anyway growing so rapidly. I was very keen to understand how China is so successful. So to that extent, it was very challenging. So I also felt that it's my duty to now accept and move forward.
Got it. So, Rajesh, if you can briefly describe, you said it's a great experience. So, how was the experience great, and how did it all end up?
See, it was 14 plants and the capacity of almost 2.25 lakh trucks per year. And it had 60 suppliers in the same city and 24,000 employees. So it was very interesting to contribute in such a situation. So what I tried to use my experience of Volvo Group and Aisha and look at areas of opportunities. Just to give an example, like inclusion and diversity was there in China, but I worked on equity so that it can they really feel something new. Or say I worked on improving safety, or using my technical knowledge to enhance quality and productivity. So when I applied this principle, it also gave me tremendous learning, because you are doing at a much bigger scale in a new country where they don't understand your language. So that experience taught me that if you work on fundamentals and basics, you can really contribute in any situation and get accepted. So that was a tremendous learning experience for me also.
Yeah. So, Rajesh, how long were you there? And when you came back to India, so how did your return to India happen? And where did you join?
So I was there for 2 years, And once the joint venture governance was in place, and Volvo Group also kept their promise, because they initially told me, because that was also one of the things I requested, which I did not mention before, that once my daughter reach in class 11, I would like to be back in India. So that is the time Volvo brought me back into a very senior position in Volvo Group, Trucks Asia and Joint Ventures, as the head of purchasing, and made me stationed at Bangalore, whereas my teams were in China, Japan, Indonesia, Thailand, and India. So that is how, after completing 2 years in China stint, I came back to Bangalore and now became the head of purchasing for Volvo Group Trucks Asia. Yeah, then after that, my daughter also delighted us. She moved to the top-notch University of Chicago. So after she moved to US, then I took assignment in UD Trucks Japan, because that is the time when we had an acquisition by Isuzu of UD Trucks. So I became head of logistics in UD Trucks Japan, and then Isuzu posted me now in Isuzu Motors India.
Okay, so it all worked out for you. So your gamble of asking for things that would make you comfortable, so that your daughter's needs were also satisfied, really worked out. And as I was saying earlier, sometimes professionals hesitate to stick their neck out and take a risk. But if you're a self-assured, confident professional with so much of experience, then it's many times worth it to go out and make those requests and come out on top and have the best of both worlds.
You articulated well before also that it is not either or. If you are, working with that self-assured ability with fundamentals and take care of your family too, it works out, and that is what I learned in my life now. So I think you are summarizing it very well, that as a win-win situation for work as well as your personal life, it is doable.
Absolutely. And life is a whole thing, you can't segregate personal life and professional life. If you're happy at home, can you be delivering a great job, and vice versa?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So wonderful to hear you talk about this thing from almost 10 years back. And there's so much learning. Thank you, Rajesh, for your insights and
Thank you so
being
much.
generously sharing with my audience. Thank you. Friends, we'll be coming up with more episodes with other senior professionals as we go along. So do join back. Thank you.